Hello, YouTube. A few things I wanted to talk about today. First of all, now that the trilogy for Easter is done and out of the way, going back to the regular schedule for episode releases, new episode every 2 Sundays. That was a lot of work, not gonna lie, to get that those 3 episodes out of the way. I had fun doing it. I'm glad I did it. I hope you enjoyed it. The response has been pretty good so far. I wanted to reflect on a couple of things that I noticed while I was doing it. You may have noticed that I didn't involve the Gospel of John whatsoever. That's because it's not considered a synoptic gospel. I may do an episode strictly about the Gospel of John's take, but not anytime soon. I'm a little worn out after the last week and a half of video production. These unscripted rants are easy. I can just knock these out in a couple of hours, but there's a lot of work that goes into that's in the Bible. But the other thing I wanted to talk about involving that was that I noticed that in all 3 of the synoptic gospels, when you're dealing with the account of the arrest, the crucifixion, and the resurrection, all 3 gospels have one thing universally in common, and that is they focus way more on the death, the torture, the gruesome details of the crucifixion. And when it comes to the resurrection, barely a few paragraphs in Matthew in particular. They didn't even cover the ascension in that one. And that, to me, is really telling. Just the obsession. It's not so much that they're focused on the resurrection part of it. That seems to be incidental. It's a gruesome torture, crucifixion. And to focus that much on it, Mel Gibson got a lot of flack for how focused on that he was in the movie The Passion of the Christ, but it's biblically a valid account. There really isn't much in there outside of the actual torture. They're obsessed with blood. Think about it. They symbolically, or supposedly literally, according to the Catholic faith anyway, drink Jesus' blood every time they take communion. They feel that redemption is only through the shedding of Jesus' blood. It's bizarre, to me at least, this focus on death and pain and suffering, and I don't understand how anybody can consider that to be beautiful in any way. Death is never a pretty thing. Torture is never a pretty thing. It's a blood cult. Plain and simple. It is a blood cult. There's really no other word for it. Another thing I wanted to talk about was I frequently see people make the argument of, well, what if you're wrong? What if you're wrong? What if there is a God? And what are you going to do when you die? And you go up to heaven and there's God. And that seems to imply that, their argument for the existence of God is on equal footing as my argument against the existence of God. It's a 50-50 shot. And I always respond with, okay, let's play the probability game. Let's take the existence of God, and you get 50% probability, and I get 50% probability. You say there is, I say there isn't. We're both sitting there with our pieces of the pie, so to speak. But here come the Muslims. They believe in God. They get a piece of your pie. Here come the Jews. They get a piece of it too. The pagans, the Hindus, every religion that has ever existed, because they all have the same amount of verifiable evidence. 0. So you've got your pie, and you've split it amongst all of these other religions. Now you've got a tiny sliver of that pie, but say you're a Christian. Here comes every single other denomination of Christianity, many of which say that they are the only version of Christianity that has it right, and that's going to go to heaven. These are all mutually exclusive denominations. The Catholics get a slice, the Lutherans get a slice, Methodists, Baptists, Southern Baptists, hundreds of denominations of Christians, and each of them get a piece of your pie. You know how many people I have to share my side with? Nobody. So there you are with your tiny sliver of probability. I'm sitting here with 50%. Now, it's still only 50%, but I got a higher probability of being right than you do.